Kat and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I'm going to be making fajitas using seitan, and this is actually something I've never made with seitan before, so we're going to be experimenting together. I just found at Whole Foods the other day some seitan strips, and seitan is wheat gluten. It's wheat protein basically, and I really like it because it is a really good thing to serve to people that are not vegetarians. It has more of a meaty texture than any of the other meat alternatives do. It's kind of chewy, and so it's really good for using as a meat substitute. So tonight I'm going to try it. I usually buy it in cubes and I bread it and pan fry it with like barbecue sauce or something. But tonight I'm going to try some breading left over from some barbecue tofu I made last week, and I'm going to try to make fajitas out of the strips, which, like I said, I've never used before. So we'll see. We're going to experiment together. I had some hot peppers left over from some guacamole that my friend made last week, and I have some red onion and some yellow onion, some tomatoes, some carrots, and I have in my freezer this corn succotash mix that has like black beans and corn in it. So also I have a little bit of fresh cilantro and some parsley. So we're just going to kind of toss it all together and see what happens. So I'm going to get everything. Okay, so here is what the seitan looks like when it's out of the package. As you can see, it's in strips, and it does have a very similar look and texture to meat, which is what is really great about it when you're serving it to guests. So that's what seitan looks like. Okay, so I have cut up my onions, my hot peppers. It's a jalapeno, and one whole jalapeno and about a half of a serrano, I believe is what that was. So I'm going to start to heat some oil in my skillets here. I have a non-stick skillet to fry the seitan, so I'm going to put like 2 tablespoons of oil in that. And then this one's for the onions. I'm going to put 1. But I'm going to get the seitan going first, especially because I have to go through the whole process of breading it, which if you've watched any of my videos before, you've seen me do this with. So it's the exact same process. So I'm going to start to heat the oil here, just over medium. So, so for the breading, it's whole wheat flour. I used corn breadcrumbs, some spices, salt, black pepper, sea salt, black pepper. I put a little paprika in it this time, and some cayenne pepper for a little kick. So the recipe for that is gone over in more detail on a previous video blog that I posted on my website, and that is the blog about barbecue tofu. So it's on there. It's on catshealthyhome.typepad.com. So it has more specific measurements. And then I usually just add another little spice or whatever to it depending on what I'm making that night. So I did add, like I said, some paprika and cayenne the last time just for a little kick. And I can actually smell the pepper in this. So this is going to be really tasty. So you just kind of cover these so that they're just coated with the breading a little bit. It's a light breading, and you know what? It's just some whole wheat flour, so you don't have to stress too much. It's not like it's that bad for you. We're frying it in canola oil, and one of the things about a vegan diet is that you don't get a lot of saturated fat or cholesterol, so I don't really worry too much about the fact that I'm using oil or that I'm actually frying something, because it's not deep fried, it's just pan fried, and like I said, I mean, you do need fat in your diet, so just bread this, and actually I have some rice going. So I decided to make fajitas, right? I got home at like 8 o'clock tonight and I decided to make fajitas. Well, once I cut everything up and right after I turned off my camera, I realized that I have no tortillas or hard taco shells or anything. So I'm going to be eating my fajitas over rice. So, oh well. You know what? One of the things about the way that I cook is I just improvise and I use what I have, and you know, ideally I would like to have some bell peppers in this, but you know what, I've been entertaining a lot over the holidays and I have some leftover things in my refrigerator that I want to use, so mainly the fresh herbs like cilantro and parsley and those hot peppers. And I'm just dying to try making some fajitas with this seitan. So that is the story. So when you're cooking, just, you have to improvise. You have to work with what you have. That's my number one advice, is to be flexible and just work with what you have in your refrigerator. Be willing to experiment a little bit. I'm not using a recipe. I do have a recipe for like a taco mix written down in the cookbook I'm working on, but I just usually wing it. So I'll show you guys what I put in it, and so you'll get to see. Now, one thing I noticed, like I said in the beginning, this is the first time I've used the seitan strips. It's crumbling into really little pieces. You don't see that as much with the cubed seitan. So I'm not going to be able to use some of this. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that once I put it in the skillet, but it's quite a bit. And that's my rice. So the rice is done there, so I gotta grab that. And I'm just gonna toss the rest of those pieces. So the rice is done, so we need to remove that from the heat and let it stand for probably about 15 minutes. It's just brown rice. Okay. So now this should be enough, and we can start to pan fry the seitan. I'm going to turn that up to high and get that going. And I've used this a couple times, and since the seitan did get kind of crumbly and chunky, I'm going to toss it. If it wasn't, if it hadn't have kind of fallen off in there, I probably would have reused that another time, because since it's not, there's no meat, there's nothing wrong with using it again. There was nothing in there. It wasn't gross or anything. There's no bacteria really. It's just tofu I used before. So, okay, just try to clean up a little bit. Alright, so now that I have, and actually I think I need a tiny bit more oil in this one. Now that I have the seitan going, I'm going to use tongs. Still had the back burner on? That's not good. Especially with the gas stove, that's a good way to start a fire. This stuff doesn't take terribly long to cook. I try to make most of my meals in 30 minutes. Pretty soon here, it's January now, so pretty soon here I'm going to get into making my soups, and those typically do take longer than 30 minutes, but it's worth it. And you can make a lot of soup at once and use it for the week. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. We can start to get the onions and stuff cooking over here. The onions and peppers. And I'm going to throw some carrots in for color. And again, because I have them. This needs a touch more oil. It's sticking a little bit. So I would say probably more like 3 tablespoons. You don't want to use too much. I think on my tofu one I used too much oil. It was kind of spattering everywhere. But I'm not adding sauce this time. I'm going to just mix this in with the like fajita mixture. So okay. Before it gets too done, I'm going to grab the camera so you guys can see what this looks like. So here is the seitan frying in the skillet. Smells good too. Okay, so my oil is heated up. I'm going to toss in my onions, and I'm going to let those cook for a little while. I'm going to turn this seitan. It's almost done. You want it so it's like golden brown. what you saw of it was almost done, but it does get like a little crusty, almost like toasted look to it. This is going to be really good. You can tell already. Some of my yellow red onions too big. Okay. Alright, so the seitan's almost done, and I'm just going to get these vegetables going here. I'm going to go ahead and chop up, I have these little tomatoes, so I'm going to chop some of these up. I'm also probably going to squeeze a little bit of lime juice over it eventually, and I need to chop up some parsley. I already chopped my cilantro, so I'm going to do that. You guys don't really need to see that. This parsley's already rinsed. I'm just going to grab like a handful, maybe a little more than that. Do like that much fresh parsley. And I'm going to turn the heat down on the seitan now because it's almost done. And I'm going to give it another turn. And I turn it down to low because I don't want it to burn. So we're just going to let that cook while I get these vegetables. Here's what the seitan looks like now that it's pretty much done. As you can see, there's like a little bit. We're back. Since we last saw each other, I have added 3 cloves chopped garlic and probably about a cup of, I had these carrot chips that I used in a vegan lasagna I made for Christmas. So, anyway, I added those, and I'm sauteing that with the onions, and it's getting almost time to combine everything. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to transfer everything into the larger non-stick skillet where the seitan is, and also I did want to tell you that I am starving, and I snuck a little sample of the seitan, and it is really good. Having that dash of paprika and that dash of cayenne pepper in the breading is definitely a plus, and you really don't even need, I've been thinking that you need like all these sauces, you really don't even need it, it's good like that with that breading. So anyway, just thought I'd pass that along. So you do have to be careful about how much you eat while you're cooking, because before you know it, you'll end up eating way more than you were planning on. Okay, so I'm going to actually move it like this. We're going to dump everything into the big skillet, and this is on low, or like medium low right now. I'm going to turn up the heat. I'm going to turn the heat back up. I'm going to add the hot peppers now. And I'm going to start to add all the spices now too. I also recently, I obviously need to go to the grocery store. I just recently, just yesterday, ran out of ground black pepper. I really, really prefer ground black pepper. It has a lot stronger taste, and it's just fresh. I have my backup cheesy black pepper here that I'm going to just put a sprinkle of that on here, as well as some salt, sea salt. Just a little bit. There's not too much of that in here. I'm going to use a tablespoon, probably at least, a tablespoon of chili powder. And probably, say at least a half a tablespoon of cayenne. I don't know, I'm really trying to use measuring spoons. I'm really bad at it. I just do everything by taste usually. So, some red pepper flakes, I obviously like spicy. You don't have to do this many. If you don't like too spicy, then don't put that in because there's already jalapenos in there. Just a dash of white pepper, this stuff's really strong. And a little bit of paprika dash again. I'm going to stir this up. And, everything's getting really coated, but it's pretty dry. So what I'm going to do is, normally, oh my god, I might have put way too much. I might have put too much chili powder. It's looking like extremely... Here, my fajita's almost done. I squeezed some lime juice, the juice of 1 lime on there, and it's tasting really delicious. It's very spicy though. I think I might have put a little bit too much cayenne pepper in. I'm going to grab my rice. Normally, like I said, I would put this, I would definitely have this like in a tortilla, but oh well. So my rice. Gonna give myself a generous helping of my fajita mixture. And the camera died, but I squeezed, I put in this corn succotash, about 2 cups of that. And I definitely put in too much cayenne pepper, it's really hot, and chili powder, but I'm going to put some vegan sour cream on it. I added the chopped parsley and cilantro combination, and I squeezed the juice of 1 lime on it. It's really delicious. This is vegan sour cream. It's from Chicago Raw. I've been using it to make dressings and stuff lately. You can find Chicago Raw in the French Market at Ogilvy Station in Chicago. And I'm also going to use this, put a little bit, because it's really spicy. This is the only vegan cheese that really melts well that I found anyway. It's called Daya. You can get it at Whole Foods. I'm not sure where else you can buy it. That's the only place I've ever seen it. I just know a lot of vegan restaurants use it. So, and it does melt pretty nicely. So here we go. This is the finished product. I will go get the camera so you guys check it out. It looks really good. I can't wait to try it. Here we go. I don't know how it could be bad. All the ingredients separately were really good. It might be a little bit too spicy, but... And this vegan cheese is actually melting already just by being mixed in. And for those of you that have experience with vegan cheeses, you'll know that that is a rare, rare thing. It's so hard to get them to melt. The other thing I think is really cool about this vegan cheese is that it's not filled with a bunch of chemicals. It's natural. That's another thing that's hard to find. Really, really good. Really good. The lime juice really adds, I'm really glad I added the lime juice instead of more water. And with the fresh cilantro, it's really tasty. There's a freshness to it, even though it's spicy. There's a nice freshness to it. Sorry, I have to have one more bite before I let you guys go. It's that good. So it's sort of a weird meal with the rice and everything, but it's really delicious. So, another successful meal from Kat's Kitchen. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one.